Victor Newman's Phase 2. Over at the ranch, Victor catches up with Victoria. The brunette wants to know if her father has a plan on how he's going to protect their empire from Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn. The lady might also wonder how that risky alliance is going between Victor and Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman. Victor explains things a bit, then tells his daughter that it's only Phase 1 of the plan. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Victor Newman's Phase 2 begins, ruthless strategy, family betrayal, and the ultimate power shift in Genoa City. Genoa City is about to feel the full weight of Victor Newman's genius, and his fury. For months, fans of The Young and the Restless have watched as Victor Newman, the undisputed titan of power and manipulation, has quietly set his chessboard in motion. But now, as whispers of Phase 2 begin to ripple through Newman Enterprises and beyond, one thing is clear: the mustache is about to unleash his most masterful move yet. Phase 1 was all about testing loyalty. Victor watched his empire closely, observing who would stand with him and who would dare to question his authority. Now that he has identified his true allies and exposed the weak links, Phase 2 promises to redefine the balance of power in Genoa City forever. It's not just a business maneuver, it's a full-blown psychological war, and no one, not even his own children, will escape unscathed. Victor Newman has always been a man of precision. Every decision, every calculated silence, every unexpected smile hides a strategy decades in the making. But in recent months, the cracks in his empire have started to show. Adam, his rebellious son, continues to push boundaries and test his patience. Nick, the loyal yet conflicted son, is torn between moral conscience and family obligation. Victoria, the fierce and ambitious daughter, believes she should already be running the Newman dynasty outright. And Nate Hastings, ever the opportunist, lurks in the shadows of their power struggles, waiting to see which Newman he should align himself with next. For Victor, this chaos isn't a setback, it's an opportunity. Phase 2 begins with one word: control. Victor has realized that to secure his legacy, he must once again remind everyone, including his children, who truly holds the strings. Rumors suggest that he's quietly restructuring the entire Newman corporate structure, shifting assets, and creating new shell companies under his private control. Even Victoria, for all her intelligence, may not fully grasp the extent of what her father is building. There's talk that Victor's new project, codenamed Phase 2, involves an unexpected alliance with Tucker McCall. Yes, Tucker, the same man who has spent years challenging Victor and the Newmans. Sources close to Y&R insiders say Victor may use Tucker as a temporary ally to weaken both the Abbott family and his own internal rivals. It's the kind of ruthless, layered move that only Victor Newman could orchestrate. Tucker, of course, is playing his own game. He sees Victor's need for assistance as leverage, and he's determined to exploit it. But what Tucker doesn't realize is that Victor's plans always have an escape hatch. When the dust settles, Victor will walk away clean, and Tucker will be left holding the blame. But business isn't the only battlefield in Phase 2. Family dynamics are once again at the heart of Victor's strategy. The mustache has long believed that his children's greatest weakness is their ego, and now he's ready to use that against them. He's setting traps designed to test their integrity, assigning Nick to a morally gray project, tempting Victoria with unchecked authority, and challenging Adam with a test of loyalty that could make or break him. Adam, in particular, is about to face the storm of his life. Victor's relationship with his youngest son has always been fraught with love, resentment, and mutual admiration. But now, the stakes are higher than ever. Insiders hint that Victor is about to offer Adam a position so powerful it will either redeem him completely or destroy him utterly. Imagine Adam being placed in charge of a Newman subsidiary tied to a morally questionable enterprise, a test of whether he'll remain loyal to his father's vision or try to outsmart him once again. The question isn't whether Adam will take the bait, it's how far Victor is willing to go to prove that he still controls his son's destiny. Meanwhile, Victoria Newman believes she's finally earned the right to sit permanently on the Newman throne. But Victor's Phase 2 plan could throw her world into chaos. He's reportedly considering merging divisions of Newman Enterprises in a way that limits her authority, possibly forcing her to work side by side with Adam again. It's a brilliant psychological maneuver: create competition between his children and watch as their ambition exposes their true intentions. Victoria may believe she's ready to take over, but Victor knows better. In his mind, no one, not even his most capable child, is ready to run the empire without him. Nick, the family's moral compass, will also be caught in the crossfire. For years, he's tried to distance himself from his father's ruthless tactics. But Phase 2 may drag him back into the fold. Victor has plans for Newman Media, and Nick could be asked to oversee its cleanup, a task that forces him to make choices that test his ethics. Victor knows that Nick's compassion is his greatest strength, but also his greatest weakness. If Phase 2 works as Victor envisions, Nick will either emerge hardened and loyal or broken and disillusioned. And then there's Nate Hastings. Once an outsider to the Newman family, Nate has proven himself cunning and ambitious, two traits Victor respects. But Victor also sees Nate as a potential threat. Rumor has it that Phase 2 will involve a corporate shakeup that exposes Nate's duplicity, forcing him to choose between power and integrity. Victor has no tolerance for opportunists who think they can outmaneuver him. If Nate oversteps, Victor won't hesitate to crush him publicly. Beyond business and family, Phase 2 could also have ripple effects across Genoa City's alliances. Jack Abbott and Victor Newman's rivalry has simmered for decades, but it's about to reignite. Jabot and Newman Enterprises are once again circling the same target, a lucrative biotech deal that could tip the economic scales of Genoa City. Victor's plan likely includes using his resources to undermine Jabot from within, perhaps through a planted insider or a hostile takeover attempt disguised as a partnership. Jack, ever the idealist, will underestimate just how far Victor is willing to go. But Victor isn't stopping there. Another name is beginning to surface in his plans: Audra Charles. The young and ambitious executive has already proven she's willing to play dirty to get ahead. Victor sees potential in her, not just as an employee, but as a tool. Audra could be instrumental in Phase 2, possibly used to manipulate Adam, Tucker, or even Kyle Abbott, drawing them into Victor's web of strategy. Behind closed doors, Victor is also reportedly working on securing control over Genoa City's information channels. Whether it's through Newman Media or secret acquisitions, he's positioning himself as the gatekeeper of truth and image in the city. That means every scandal, every leak, and every public narrative could be bent to serve his purpose. It's not enough for Victor to win, he wants to control the story of how he wins. But even for a man as powerful as Victor Newman, there's one thing he can't fully control: time. Phase 2 might also serve as Victor's way of cementing his legacy, ensuring that his empire outlives him. He's seen what happens when titans like him lose their grip: chaos, betrayal, and decline. That's not a fate he'll accept. So, Phase 2 could involve installing loyalists not just in the company, but across Genoa City's institutions, from legal to media to finance, ensuring that the mustache remains an unshakable force even if he steps away from the throne. Yet as Victor tightens his grip, his family may begin to turn on him. Nikki Newman, ever the voice of reason, may start to question whether her husband's endless scheming is worth the toll it's taking. She's stood by him through countless battles, but this time, she may fear that his obsession with control will destroy their family from within. Her confrontation with Victor could be one of the most emotional moments of Phase 2, a moment where love and power collide. Viewers should also brace themselves for a betrayal from within. History shows that every Newman plan eventually exposes a snake in the grass, and this time could be no different. Could it be Victoria, tired of being undermined? Or Adam, plotting revenge disguised as loyalty? Perhaps even someone unexpected like Nate or Audra, whose ambition could turn them against their master? One thing is certain: Victor is prepared. He's seen betrayal coming before it even takes shape. Every move he makes in Phase 2 will be layered with countermeasures, fail-safes designed to crush anyone who dares to cross him. By the end of this chapter, the entire hierarchy of Newman Enterprises could look unrecognizable. As Y&R fans know, Victor Newman's genius lies in his ability to make every defeat part of his next victory. Even when he appears vulnerable, he's already setting up his next triumph. Phase 2 isn't just a business plan, it's a declaration of dominance. It's Victor reminding everyone, from Jack Abbott to his own children, that the Newman name isn't just a legacy. It's an empire built on iron will, strategic brilliance, and unbreakable vision. As the story unfolds, fans can expect emotional confrontations, boardroom wars, and the kind of ruthless power plays that have defined Victor's character for decades. The mustache isn't done yet, not by a long shot. In fact, Phase 2 may be his most dangerous, unpredictable, and exhilarating plan to date. Genoa City has seen many storms, but none quite like this. Because when Victor Newman says, Phase 2, it isn't just business, it's war. And in this war, there will be no safe place to hide. The Young and the Restless preview week of October 6th, Tessa's bad news, Nikki vs. Jill, Victor's Phase 2. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for the week of October 6, 2025. It shows Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, returning with bad news about Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes. Want more of The Young and the Restless? Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? Report ad. Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, faces off with Jill Abbott, Jess Walton. Plus, Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, tells Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, about Phase 2 of his plan. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Tessa Porter returns. Let's start off with Tessa and Daniel Romalotti, Jr., Michael Grazadii, who returns from their trip. They went to investigate the hotel room where Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, said she nearly killed a man. However, when Tessa and Daniel show back up at the coffee house, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, eagerly asks if they found anything. Tessa and Daniel both have down faces, then the singer admits they did. It doesn't sound like good news at all. There is also how Mariah will react when she learns that Tessa and Daniel are digging into things. The redhead said she tried to kill a man, Michael Swan. What is this? Report ad. That implies he survived, but he clearly triggered something for Mariah to try to end his life. Maybe Tessa and Daniel actually talked to the man. Perhaps Tessa has reason to worry that Mariah might not be safe around them at all. The Young and the Restless shock, Tessa Porter returns to Genoa City, Mariah's world turns upside down. The world of The Young and the Restless is about to be rocked once again as Tessa Porter makes her long-awaited return to Genoa City. Fans have been waiting for this moment for months, speculating endlessly about when the talented singer and beloved wife of Mariah Copeland would come back to the screen. Now, it's finally happening, and with her return comes a whirlwind of emotions, challenges, and jaw-dropping revelations that could change everything for Mariah, Aria, and even the Newman family. Tessa's story has always been one of redemption and resilience. When she first entered Genoa City, she was a mysterious musician with a past she couldn't quite outrun. Her journey took her through betrayal, heartbreak, and the fight to find her voice, both literally and figuratively. But over the years, Tessa grew into one of the most complex and loved characters on Y&R, and her bond with Mariah became one of the show's most inspiring love stories. Now, after months away pursuing her music career, Tessa is returning home, but things are not as simple as she hoped. From the moment she steps foot back in town, Tessa feels that something in Mariah has changed. It's not just the stress of parenting their daughter, Aria, or the hectic life in Genoa City, it's something deeper. Rumors swirl that Mariah has grown distant, consumed by work and family issues that Tessa wasn't there to witness. And as Tessa reconnects with old friends like Sharon and Noah, she begins to realize that she's coming home to a very different reality than the one she left behind. For Mariah, the return of her wife stirs up a storm of emotions. She's thrilled, of course, but she's also terrified. While Tessa was away touring and recording, Mariah faced challenges of her own, including balancing motherhood, her job at Chancellor Winters, and the complex Newman drama surrounding her mother Sharon and sister Faith. Tessa's absence forced Mariah to grow stronger and more independent, but it also opened old wounds of abandonment that she thought she had healed. Now, with Tessa back, those feelings rise to the surface again, threatening to shake the very foundation of their marriage. Yet it's not all pain and conflict. Tessa's return also brings hope. She's back with new music, a stronger sense of purpose, and a desire to ground herself with her family. But the question is, can Mariah and Tessa find their rhythm again after so much distance? Or will the pressures of fame, work, and family tear them apart before they can rebuild what they once had? The drama doesn't stop there. Tessa's comeback also brings a professional bombshell. According to insiders at Y&R, Tessa's return ties directly into a new storyline involving the re-emergence of a powerful record label in Genoa City. Rumor has it that Devon Hamilton and Lily Winters are planning to expand Chancellor Winters into the entertainment industry once again, and Tessa could be the key to making it happen. But her involvement might reignite old rivalries, especially with Audra Charles, who has a complicated history with both Noah and the music business. Audra, who's been busy clawing her way back to power, won't take kindly to seeing Tessa back in the spotlight. There's talk that Audra may even try to sabotage Tessa's career revival, using her connections and cunning to turn potential allies into enemies. That could put Tessa squarely in the crosshairs of another fierce business battle, one that might draw in Noah, Mariah, and even Victor Newman himself. Meanwhile, Tessa's return could have unexpected emotional consequences for Noah. The two shared a complicated past before Tessa fell in love with Mariah, and while they've long since moved on, nostalgia can be a dangerous thing in Genoa City. With Noah's relationship life currently in flux, some fans wonder if he might start re-examining his past, and whether Tessa's presence might stir old memories or unspoken feelings. The writers seem to be teasing the possibility of renewed tension between Noah and Mariah, especially if Tessa and Noah are forced to work together on music projects under Chancellor Winters' new division. In another twist, Tessa's storyline will also reconnect her with Sharon, who has been dealing with her own roller coaster of emotions. Sharon's cafe has always been a safe haven for Tessa and Mariah, but now Sharon might find herself leaning on Tessa for emotional support as well. With all the changes in her life, including the fallout from the Cameron-Kirsten trauma and her complicated relationship with Chancellor, Sharon could use a friendly face to remind her of simpler times. Tessa's empathy and artistic soul might help Sharon reconnect with her own inner peace, creating a new layer of friendship between the two women. Of course, no Y&R comeback would be complete without secrets. Word is that Tessa may be returning to Genoa City with one she's been keeping close to her heart. Some insiders suggest it could be a career-related scandal, perhaps an issue from her tour or a recording deal gone wrong. Others whisper that her secret could be more personal, something that could directly affect her family. Could it be a health issue she's been hiding from Mariah to avoid worrying her? Or could Tessa's travels have led her into the orbit of someone dangerous, setting the stage for a mystery that follows her home? Whatever the truth, it's bound to explode at the worst possible moment, creating emotional chaos and forcing Tessa to make impossible choices. Mariah, meanwhile, will find herself torn between anger and compassion. As fiercely loyal as she is, Mariah can also be quick-tempered, especially when she feels betrayed. The possibility of Tessa keeping something from her could reignite old trust issues, pushing the couple to the brink. Yet, if there's one thing fans know about Mariah and Tessa, it's that they always find a way back to each other. Their love has endured lies, distance, and danger before. This time, though, the stakes feel higher. With a child now in the picture and their careers pulling them in opposite directions, Tessa and Mariah must redefine what partnership really means. Expect powerful emotional scenes between the two as they navigate reconciliation, forgiveness, and rediscovering intimacy. But there's also speculation that their reunion might take an unexpected professional turn. Tessa's music career could find new life through collaboration with Mariah, perhaps with Mariah helping manage her comeback or even co-writing songs inspired by their journey. That kind of creative connection could reignite their passion both on and off the stage, giving fans the Victoria magic they've been craving. Meanwhile, other Genoa City residents will certainly have opinions. Abby Newman might be one of the first to welcome Tessa back, given her friendship with Mariah and the bond their families share. Devon could see Tessa's return as a business opportunity, while Lily might sense the emotional complications brewing beneath the surface. Even Kyle Abbott might find himself drawn into the mix if Chancellor Winter's expansion intersects with Jabot's branding plans. The ripple effects of Tessa's return are bound to reach far beyond her marriage. And let's not forget Aria, the little girl who's already captured the hearts of viewers. Tessa's reunion with her daughter will be emotional and heartwarming, especially since their journey into parenthood was filled with struggle and hope. But as new challenges arise, including potential hearing issues and the demands of balancing fame with family, Tessa will have to decide how far she's willing to go for both her dreams and her loved ones. For fans, Tessa's return is more than just another storyline, it's a full-circle moment that ties together years of character growth, romance, and redemption. Her comeback represents healing for the Copeland Porter family, a chance to see love triumph once again in a town where betrayal and heartbreak so often rule the day. And yet, in true Young and the Restless fashion, nothing will come easy. Expect emotional showdowns, shocking revelations, and moments that remind fans why Tessa Porter became such a beloved figure in the first place. Whether she's singing her heart out on stage or fighting to hold her family together, Tessa's return promises to bring soul and drama back to Genoa City in a way only she can. One thing's for certain, Tessa Porter's homecoming will send shockwaves through the Young and the Restless universe. As she reunites with Mariah, reconnects with her old allies, and faces the ghosts of her past, fans can expect a story filled with love, redemption, and power, the kind of storytelling that reminds us why this soap has captivated audiences for decades. Genoa City better brace itself, because Tessa's back, and this time, she's here to stay. Victoria Newman's concern. That is when Victoria asks, "Dare I ask what Phase 2 is?" The patriarch will probably not go into too much detail. While he trusts Victoria completely, the man also knows that she has a moral compass. Plus, Victor won't want to risk anything going wrong. At the same time, Victoria could get worried about Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, in all of this. The Young and the Restless shock, Victoria Newman's growing concern over Victor's new strategy, the Newman Empire faces an emotional meltdown. Trouble is brewing in the Newman Empire, and this time, Victoria Newman is at the center of it all. The once confident powerhouse of the Young and the Restless finds herself questioning everything she thought she knew about business, family, and loyalty. For decades, Victoria has walked in her father's footsteps, building herself into one of the most formidable executives in Genoa City. But as Victor Newman begins his mysterious Phase 2 operation, Victoria senses that something far bigger and far more dangerous is taking shape, and her instincts are screaming that it may be the beginning of the end for their family's unity. Victoria's concern isn't just professional, it's deeply personal. She's spent her entire life proving herself to Victor, fighting for his respect and approval. But lately, she's starting to see cracks in his decision-making. The once unshakable Victor Newman has become more secretive, more manipulative, and far less willing to explain his actions to his children. Victoria fears that her father's latest maneuvers, his secret deals, sudden partnerships, and hidden agendas, could destroy everything the Newmans have built. In recent weeks, Victoria has tried to keep calm, presenting her usual composed and confident front. But behind closed doors, she's deeply unsettled. Victor's Phase 2 plan, which he has refused to fully disclose even to her, feels to Victoria like a ticking time bomb. She's not used to being left in the dark. For years, she's been her father's trusted right hand, his heir apparent, and the one child who truly understands his business mind. Now, Victor's distance feels like a slap in the face, and a sign that he no longer trusts her. That realization hits Victoria hard. As fans know, her relationship with Victor has always been complicated, built on love, admiration, competition, and at times, resentment. She's fought tooth and nail to earn his respect, often putting her own happiness on hold to prove she's worthy of leading Newman Enterprises. Yet time and time again, Victor's actions remind her that, in his world, loyalty is never guaranteed. Her concern grows when she notices the subtle shifts in power around her. Adam, the perpetual wild card of the family, seems to be back in Victor's good graces. Despite his history of betrayal, Victor is suddenly giving Adam more responsibility and trust, something Victoria can't understand. She's convinced Adam is manipulating their father once again, preying on Victor's soft spot for redemption stories. The idea that Adam might rise within the company while she's pushed aside fills Victoria with dread and anger. She's worked too hard to see her life's work jeopardized by her half-brother's scheming. But it's not just Adam that worries her. Victor's newfound alliance with Tucker McCall has sent alarm bells ringing. Victoria has never trusted Tucker. His history with the Abbotts, his shady deals, and his unpredictable behavior make him a dangerous man to partner with. And yet, Victor seems to be working closely with him behind the scenes. The thought of her father teaming up with someone as volatile as Tucker fills Victoria with unease. She knows her father too well. If he's partnering with Tucker, it's not for friendship. It's for war. And she's terrified about who the target might be. At Newman Enterprises, Victoria begins to feel the tension mounting. The once stable hierarchy is shifting. She notices employees whispering, divisions being quietly reorganized, and financial transfers that she's not authorized. When she tries to question Victor, he dismisses her concerns, insisting she focus on her lane and trust his vision. That only makes things worse. Victoria doesn't do blind loyalty. She's too sharp, too independent, and too aware of how quickly power can slip away. The more Victor shuts her out, the more determined she becomes to uncover what he's really planning. Her growing concern pushes her to confide in someone she never thought she would, Nick. Her brother has always been her ally in times of crisis, and lately, they've both been questioning their father's behavior. Over late-night meetings at Crimson Lights, the siblings discuss their fears, that Victor may be setting them up against each other in another one of his manipulative loyalty tests. Nick believes Victor's actions are part of a grand strategy to test Adam, but Victoria suspects something darker. "What if Dad's not testing us?" she says to Nick one evening. "What if he's hiding something he can't control?" The idea that her father might be losing control, whether through health, age, or sheer obsession, is one Victoria can barely bring herself to accept. Victor Newman has always been a force of nature, but lately, his erratic behavior feels different. There's a sharpness to his tone, a secretive paranoia that feels new. Could this be more than business? Could it be personal, or even medical? Victoria can't shake the feeling that her father's iron will might be covering up something he doesn't want anyone to see. The tension only deepens when Nate Hastings enters the picture. Once Victoria's trusted lover and business partner, Nate's loyalties are now murky at best. After their relationship imploded amid corporate betrayal, she can't tell whether he's an enemy or an ally. But now, with Victor quietly observing Nate's every move, Victoria worries that her father might be using him as a pawn to keep tabs on her. She's haunted by the idea that Victor could be manipulating both of them, testing whether she's still sharp enough to handle betrayal. In the midst of all this, Victoria finds herself torn between her instinct to protect the Newman legacy and her growing desire to break free from it. She's spent her whole life defining herself through her father's shadow, but the deeper she looks into his new plans, the more she wonders whether her loyalty has blinded her to the truth. Could Victor's latest power play actually bring down the very empire he built? Adding to her anxiety, the business world outside Genoa City is shifting rapidly. Chancellor Winters is gaining strength, Jabot is expanding aggressively, and even smaller companies like Audra's new ventures are beginning to make waves. For once, Newman Enterprises doesn't feel untouchable, and Victoria can sense the vulnerability. Yet when she tries to warn her father, he waves her off with his trademark calm arrogance. "I built this empire before you were born, Victoria," he says. "And I'll protect it long after I'm gone." The line chills her to the bone. Long after he's gone. Those aren't the words of a man planning expansion, they're the words of someone preparing for something permanent. As her concern grows, Victoria begins to dig deeper. She enlists her assistant to pull confidential reports, searching for anything unusual in the company's accounting or assets. What she finds shocks her. Multiple new subsidiaries have been created in secret, with funds being quietly diverted. The entities are registered under shell companies linked to Tucker McCall and Audra Charles. Whatever Victor is building, he's doing it off the Newman books, and without telling his own CEO daughter. When Victoria confronts him, Victor's reaction is explosive. He accuses her of disloyalty, of questioning his judgment, of forgetting who made her who she is. The confrontation leaves Victoria shaken. It's not just the anger in his voice, it's the coldness in his eyes. For the first time, she sees a version of Victor that genuinely scares her. Later that night, alone in her office, Victoria stares out at the Genoa city skyline and wonders how it came to this. She's fought her whole life for her father's approval, but now she's fighting to protect him from himself. Her concern isn't just about business, it's about legacy, family, and the cost of ambition. She fears that if Victor continues down this path, he'll alienate everyone he loves, and destroy the Newman dynasty from within. Meanwhile, whispers are spreading through the corporate world. Investors are nervous, board members are quietly meeting without her knowledge, and a sense of instability is growing. Even Nikki, Victor's devoted wife, begins to confide in Victoria that something about her husband's behavior doesn't feel right. When mother and daughter unite in concern, it sets up one of the most emotional family showdowns the young and the restless has seen in years. Victoria's next move could define everything. Does she confront Victor head-on and risk his wrath? Or does she play his game, pretending to stay loyal while gathering evidence behind the scenes? Either path is dangerous. If she defies him, she could lose her position, or worse, her relationship with her father. But if she stays silent, she risks letting him destroy everything they've built. Victoria Newman's concern isn't paranoia, it's prophecy. She senses a storm coming to Genoa City, one that could pit father against daughter, brother against brother, and lover against lover. As the cracks in the Newman empire widen, Victoria finds herself standing on the edge of an impossible choice: protect her father's secrets or protect the family legacy. In the coming weeks, fans can expect emotional confrontations, shocking revelations, and possibly even the downfall of a Newman. Victor's Phase 2 will test every relationship in his family, and Victoria's growing concern may be the only thing standing between order and complete collapse. One thing's for sure, Victoria Newman's instincts are rarely wrong. And this time, she's sensing danger that could shake Genoa City to its core. Nikki Newman vs. Jill Abbott. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of October 6 reveal that the preview clip also shows Nikki and Jill facing off. Once they are left alone, the blonde says there is something she's been wanting to get off her chest for a long time. The Young and the Restless shocker, Nikki Newman vs. Jill Abbott. Genoa City's most explosive rivalry reignites. Genoa City is bracing for a battle like no other as two of the Young and the Restless' most formidable women, Nikki Newman and Jill Abbott, go head-to-head once again. Their rivalry, steeped in decades of betrayal, love triangles, and corporate power struggles, has always captured the imagination of viewers, but this time, it promises to reach new heights, affecting not just their families but the entire city. Nikki Newman has always been the heart of the Newman family, a woman of resilience, passion, and unyielding loyalty. She has weathered countless storms with Victor, stood by her children through their darkest moments, and navigated the treacherous waters of Genoa City's social and corporate elite. But Nikki is no pushover. When provoked, she can be as cunning and strategic as any Newman, using intelligence, charm, and determination to protect her legacy. Jill Abbott, on the other hand, is the epitome of ambition, wit, and audacity. Over the years, she has climbed the corporate ladder, leveraging every connection, secret, and advantage to assert her dominance. Her history with the Newman family, particularly with Victor and his children, is littered with victories, humiliations, and shocking betrayals. Jill's return to the city often signals chaos, and her presence now sets the stage for a showdown with Nikki that could redefine power dynamics in Genoa City. The seeds of this conflict have been growing for months. Nikki has grown increasingly concerned about Jill's influence, not just in the social sphere but also in corporate circles. With the recent upheavals in Newman Enterprises and Victor's Phase 2 strategy shaking the family, Jill's subtle manipulations have begun to unsettle the balance. Nikki senses that Jill is positioning herself to exploit any weakness, a move that could harm Victor, their children, and the Newman legacy. Jill, ever the opportunist, thrives on chaos. She recognizes that Nikki's protective nature makes her vulnerable, especially when it comes to her family. Jill knows how to push Nikki's buttons, whether by challenging her authority in business dealings, undermining her in social circles, or reminding her of past mistakes and regrets. Jill's tactics are as psychological as they are strategic, and Nikki has always struggled with staying one step ahead of her rival. The clash between these two women is as much emotional as it is tactical. Nikki feels the weight of decades of rivalry pressing on her, knowing that Jill has always tested the boundaries of friendship, loyalty, and morality in Genoa City. She knows that any misstep could give Jill an opening, one that might ripple through Newman Enterprises and even affect Victor's carefully laid plans. Jill, for her part, takes pleasure in this tension. She understands Nikki's insecurities and knows precisely when to exploit them. From the moment they cross paths, there is a charged energy, a blend of mutual respect, resentment, and unspoken history. Every glance, every word carries the weight of decades of competition. On the corporate front, the rivalry is heating up dramatically. Jill's ambitions have increasingly encroached on Newman Enterprises' territory, particularly in areas where Nikki holds influence. From charity boards to business ventures, Jill has been strategically inserting herself into situations where she can outshine, outmaneuver, and ultimately destabilize Nikki. Reports from Genoa City insiders suggest that Jill may be attempting a hostile maneuver, possibly leveraging her connections with the Abbott family to gain a foothold in areas traditionally dominated by the Newmans. Nikki, always vigilant, is readying a counter-strategy, aware that the slightest miscalculation could be disastrous. The tension between them is compounded by their shared history with Victor Newman. Both women have loved, fought, and manipulated their way through relationships with him, creating an intricate web of emotions that only adds fuel to the fire. Nikki's protective instincts for her family are constantly at odds with Jill's relentless pursuit of power. This personal and professional entanglement makes their rivalry uniquely combustible. Meanwhile, the next generation is drawn into the conflict. Victoria, Nick, and Adam Newman have all sensed the undercurrents of tension, realizing that Nikki and Jill's feud could have far-reaching consequences. Family loyalty will be tested as they navigate the fallout of their mother's clash. Kyle Abbott, too, may find himself caught in the crossfire, especially if corporate stakes align with his interests at Jabot. The personal stakes are equally high. Nikki's concern for her family's safety, reputation, and emotional well-being clashes with Jill's desire to assert dominance and achieve her own ambitions. Their confrontations are expected to be intense, whether in boardrooms, social events, or private encounters. Fans can anticipate verbal sparring, strategic maneuvering, and moments of shocking revelation that will redefine alliances and enmities in Genoa City. In true Y&R fashion, the rivalry is set to spill over into unexpected arenas. Social events, charity galas, and corporate announcements will serve as battlegrounds where Nikki and Jill attempt to outwit and outmaneuver each other. Every interaction will carry high stakes, and the tension will be palpable. The ripple effects of this feud will extend beyond just the women themselves. Victor Newman, ever the strategist, will monitor the situation closely, weighing how Nikki and Jill's conflict could be used to his advantage. Adam, Victoria, and Nick will each have to navigate their loyalties carefully, deciding whether to intervene, stay neutral, or leverage the feud for personal gain. Even the younger generation, such as Abby Newman and Summer Newman, may become entangled, witnessing firsthand the intensity of this long-standing rivalry and potentially taking sides. As the story unfolds, fans should expect a blend of emotional intensity, corporate intrigue, and strategic brilliance. Nikki Newman vs. Jill Abbott is not just a battle of personalities, it's a war of legacy, influence, and power. Their confrontations will test loyalties, expose vulnerabilities, and redefine relationships across Genoa City. And in true soap opera fashion, there will be surprises, unexpected alliances, betrayals, and shocking revelations that will leave viewers on the edge of their seats. For Nikki, the challenge is to remain composed, protect her family, and counter Jill's relentless maneuvers. For Jill, the objective is clear: assert dominance, destabilize the Newmans, and seize opportunities wherever they arise. The city itself becomes a character in this unfolding drama, a witness to decades of tension, history, and unresolved conflict between two of Y&R's most iconic figures. One thing is certain: the collision of Nikki Newman and Jill Abbott will send shockwaves through Genoa City. The emotional stakes, corporate implications, and family entanglements promise a storyline that will dominate conversations among fans for weeks. This is more than rivalry, it is the ultimate test of power, resilience, and cunning. In the coming episodes, expect nothing less than high drama, strategic gambits, and intense confrontations. Nikki Newman vs. Jill Abbott is shaping up to be one of the most unforgettable storylines in recent Young and the Restless history, reminding fans why these two women have captivated audiences for decades and why Genoa City will never be the same again. What is this? Report ad. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of October 6, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next.